Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Olivia Tao, T-A-O, first initial O, and I appear on behalf of the offender, Alfred Jr. Chief. Your Honor, I will make 4 brief submissions. First, I will summarize the relevant facts of the offense. Second, I will address the principles of sentencing that apply in this case. Third, I will review the aggravating and mitigating factors, including the Gladio considerations relevant to Mr. Chief as an Indigenous offender. And finally, I will propose a sentence that the defense respectfully submits is proportionate in the circumstances. Your Honor, Mr. Chief has pleaded guilty to the offense of manslaughter. The event occurred on December 22, 2016, when Mr. Chief was drinking with Olson Wolftail and Minnie Charlie at Mr. Wolftail's residence. All individuals were highly intoxicated. During the evening, an altercation occurred that resulted in Mr. Chief violently assaulting Mr. Wolftail, who later died of blunt force trauma. Mr. Wolftail was an 87-year-old man who walked with a cane, making him particularly vulnerable to injuries. The injuries sustained were severe and ultimately fatal. The victim's impact statements provided by the family demonstrate profound emotional harm and devastation caused by Mr. Wolftail's death. The defense does not mitigate the seriousness of this offense and recognizes the profound impact this tragedy has had on the victim's family. Your Honor, the fundamental principle of sentencing is proportionality. A sentence must be proportionate to both the gravity of the offense and the degree of responsibility of the offender. In this case, the gravity of the offense is unquestionably serious. Manslaughter involving significant violence requires a meaningful custodial sentence in order to achieve the objectives of denunciation and deterrence. However, proportionality requires the court to consider not only the seriousness of the offense, but also the offender's moral blameworthiness. In assessing that responsibility, the court must consider the personal and systemic circumstances that shaped Mr. Chief's life and contributed to his involvement in the criminal justice system. There are several aggravating factors present in this case. First, the victim was an elderly and vulnerable individual. Second, the violence involved in the assault was significant. Third, Mr. Chief has a prior criminal record that includes previous assault convictions. However, there are also substantial mitigating factors that must carefully be considered. Mr. Chief entered a guilty plea to manslaughter. By doing this, he accepted responsibility for his actions and spared the victim's family of the burden of a trial. Additionally, the events occurred in the context of extreme intoxication by all individuals present. Mr. Chief has no memory of the incident itself. While intoxication does not excuse the offense, it provides important context for the loss of control that occurred. Most significantly, Mr. Chief suffers from fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. Clinical assessments indicate that he experiences severe impairment in reasoning ability, impulse control, and information processing. These cognitive impairments significantly affect his judgment and decision-making abilities and therefore reduce his moral culpability. Mr. Chief has also made meaningful efforts towards rehabilitation while in custody. He has completed several correctional programs, including violence prevention programming, substance abuse treatment, relapse prevention programming, and wellness programs. He has also participated in Alcoholics Anonymous and has worked with the Fetal Alcohol Syndrome Society of Yukon in developing a plan to maintain his sobriety and stability. These efforts demonstrate that Mr. Chief is actively working to address the issues that contributed to his behavior. Your Honor, Mr. Chief is also a member of Liard First Nation, and the court must consider the Gladio principles when determining a just sentence. The Gladio report reveals that Mr. Chief's life has been profoundly shaped by the intergenerational trauma associated with the residential school system. Both of his parents attended the residential schools institutions widely recognized for causing significant cultural, psychological, and social harm to Indigenous families and communities. Mr. Chief grew up in an environment marked by alcohol abuse, instability, and trauma. He experienced sexual abuse as a child, began drinking alcohol at a very young age, and endured several devastating personal losses, including the death of his brother and the death of his partner. These systemic and personal circumstances do not excuse the offense. However, they do provide essential context when assessing Mr. Chief's level of responsibility and determining a proportionate sentence. While the offense is extremely serious, Mr. Chief's moral blameworthiness is meaningfully reduced by his FASD diagnosis and the profound GLADU factors present throughout his life. Your Honor, the Crown seeks a sentence in the range of 6 to 8 years. While the defense accepts that this offense warrants a significant custodial sentence, such a sentence would not adequately account for the substantial GLADU factors in Mr. Chief's life, his cognitive impairments related to fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, and his demonstrated efforts toward rehabilitation. Mr. Chief has already served the equivalent of approximately 957 days in custody prior to sentencing. In light of these circumstances, the defense respectfully submits that a total sentence of 5 years imprisonment would be proportionate to both the gravity of the offense and Mr. Chief's degree of responsibility. A 5-year sentence remains a significant custodial sanction that clearly denounces the violence that occurred while also recognizing the unique systemic and personal factors that have shaped Mr. Chief's life and reduce his moral blameworthiness. Subject to any questions, Your Honor, those are my submissions.